Back on a Monday as Harry and Meghan have wrapped their 4-day tour of Colombia. Here with all the details is our royal expert, Patricia Treble, for another royal roundup. And let's run down, if we could, some of the highlights from this 4-day trip and just exactly how was this tour of Harry and Meghan's? How was it received, Patricia?
I'm going to say it had all the elements. So, because it's spectacular country. So you had beautiful historic venues. I mean, they even went to this village that was settled by formerly enslaved people in the 1600s. I mean, it was wonderful. They were dancing. You had the video of that. They were at a music festival. They had all their passions. There were kids, the Invictus Games. Meghan was speaking Spanish at a forum for Afro Women Empower. And yet, I'm going to say, aside from their fans who loved it, a lot of the fashion, she had amazing clothes, there was markedly less coverage than their Nigeria trip that had wall-to-wall coverage in May. And it was really quite noticeable.
So overall, you would say not a success then?
I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I think there were some issues. And I think one of the big issues is that it's the second trip, right? There's not as much novelty. The second thing is that they were there at the behest of the vice president, who was beside them at almost every event that I saw, and that injected an air of politics into it, because of course she is a politician. There was massive amounts of security. I mean, 3,000 people apparently at one venue alone. But the big thing for me that kind of took it down was that they really like to control the narrative. So they had one approved reporter there. Everything else, all the information, really, to a large extent, came from their press releases and their approved photos. So it meant that the other media that might have wanted to cover it really had nothing to go with, right? They weren't there themselves. And so they're used to wall-to-wall coverage. They did not get it this time. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about William, Kate, and a family who continue on vacation. And they were apparently at the Gone Wild Festival, which sounds like a lot of fun. But this actually is coming out a week after it happened.
This is what's so amazing. So this is a family adventure weekend. So it's held near their country home on the Sandringham Estate in Norfolk. That's where they've been spending most of the summer. And it has everything. So you've got music, you can have archery, you can have, climbing walls. It's got everything for everyone, including this amazing, massive Nerf war. And you can imagine with them. And we only found out because people started posting, as you said, a week later, that the kids were all involved in the Nerf war, to the point that Kate actually picked up a gun and started taking part in it. And it ended up being a big mud fest, apparently. Here's the wonderful thing, is that as of now, aside from those few little notes that came out a week later, no photos.
And to this day, there are no photos?
To this day, I have not seen any photos, and I think I would have seen them. Photos of Kate in the middle of a Nerf war would make a fortune on the international market. And it just shows you they have asked for privacy. This was clearly a private event, and nobody picked up a phone. And to this day, nobody's taken a picture.
Pretty remarkable here for 2024.
It is amazing.
And admirable. You know, the community must pride themselves on that they know the royal family is kind of safe with them.
Yeah.
Okay, the latest on Catherine's health.
The latest on Catherine's health is that it's going to be a slow haul. She's apparently still undergoing cancer treatment this summer. Whether it stopped or not, we don't know. But they've talked about her coming back. Do not expect her to jump back into royal duties whenever it happens. It's going to be a very gradual rollout, is kind of the guidance that the Royal Rota in London is getting. And so I think we're going to see her in the fall, but not as much as people would maybe hope for.
All right, let's talk a bit about Prince Andrew, because there's reports that he is about to lose his private security. What's the latest there?
Yeah, he is on the royalist of losing streaks. I'm going to be honest. He just cannot seem to win. So he's had private security because he no longer has public security because not a working royal. His mother and now his brother were paying for that. And his brother has said when the contract is up, apparently in October, the 10-man team not paying for it anymore. The issue is that his home is outside the security perimeter around Windsor Castle. So he needs security. So he either has to pony up a few $1 million or he has to move, which is what the king wants, inside the security perimeter. And the old Harry and Meghan's old home is sitting right there, 5 bedrooms inside. So we'll see.
Okay. Speaking of the king, banknotes featuring the king have made some big money for charity.
When I heard about this, I thought this is a brilliant idea. So Bank of England's doing the new banknotes featuring the king. So what do? They hold back some of the ones that collectors want the most. And I must say, I went down a complete rabbit hole about why collectors want it. They want low serial numbers. They raised nearly £1 million, so that's about $1.7 million for charities by auctioning off these banknotes. And you're thinking, how much would people pay? One sheet of banknotes went for $40,000.
Kind of reminds me of your dad's purchase that he made. Because you're buying banknotes,
Okay,
but what
first
are
of all,
they paying?
my dad's purchase was not $40,000. But back in the day, really quickly, he come home with an uncut sheet of $1 bills, and they were taking them out of circulation.
Yep.
And there were like 50 of them. And I said to Dad, how much did you pay for this? He says, $65. $50.
I've got the $2 banknotes, and you know what? If you show them to kids these days, their eyes light up because they've never seen anything like it. They didn't even know there were banknotes like that.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that when we get the $20 bill with the king on it here, I'm hoping the Bank of Canada does something similar, raise a lot of money for charity.
Absolutely, yes. Great news for charity here, though. And Patricia Treble, great to see you as always. Thank you for this. Appreciate it.
Thank you.